Yes, sir. Yeah, bro. When you get off topic like that, bro, I just don't care. I'm not gonna lie to you. You bring it up another time, I'll definitely care. But right now, no.
Chances are you have no idea who this man is. But over 50 years ago, Camille made a decision that would change the NBA as we know it. See, Camille was a professional soccer player in his home country of Cameroon in the late 60s.
Yeah, what is
and he
this
was
quality?
good. For 2 years, Camille traveled the country playing the sport he loved at one of the highest levels. But his father wasn't a fan of sports and saw soccer as an activity for those who couldn't succeed in other areas of their life. So just as his soccer career was taking off, he had to retire to focus on a more respected career in politics and local government. Fast forward 2 decades, and Camille would go on to be the chief to a small town just outside of Yaoundé, Cameroon. And throughout his life, Camille grew quite the family, 10 children in total. One of them you might be familiar with. Named
That was freaky. Oh! Luka Bamamute.
Luke Mbamute. Luke, just like his father, loved soccer. His dream was to one day play professionally like his dad did. And growing up, Luke would focus on soccer.
Luke could actually
play the
hoop low
game
key though.
almost
I remember
exclusively
he
until
low-key
about
wasn't
the
bad.
age of 13, where one day, while on his way to soccer practice, Luke noticed a basketball court that usually sat empty was being used
All right,
by
Cursor,
other
I'll see you in a
local
bit.
kids. For the next few days, every time he passed the court, these boys were shooting hoops. And slowly, Luke's curiosity got the best of him. So later that week, when no one was around, he grabbed his soccer ball, headed to practice, but this time, he stopped at the empty basketball court and took a shot. And that was it. He was hooked. For the next 10 years, Luke gave up soccer to focus on basketball. He quickly rose through the ranks in Cameroon's youth system and even gained the attention of college scouts in the United States after being selected to be a part of Cameroon's national youth basketball team, eventually earning a scholarship to play basketball at UCLA. His parents were reluctant to send their boy to the US, but remembering the difficult decision he had to make because of his father, Camille didn't want to stop his son from pursuing his dreams in sports. And so in 2004, Luke moved to the US and soon after enrolled at UCLA on a basketball scholarship. And 4 years later, after a decorated college career, Luke would become just the 3rd player in his country's history to be selected in the NBA draft. But this story doesn't end here, because throughout his NBA career, Luke would frequently travel back to Cameroon to visit family and host his own basketball camp. And it was at his camp in 2011 where he discovered possibly the next great Cameroonian basketball player, a tall, lanky kid who just picked up the
Yep.
I'm starting to notice a trend where you expect to disappoint people, and when you do a good job.
sport a few months prior, had no real skill or finesse, but had all the potential in the world. His real passion was volleyball, and he was supposed to move to France later that year to play professionally. But Luke knew this kid was special. So under Luke's mentorship, the teenage prospect continued to develop his skills and moved to the US just 1 year later in pursuit of his basketball dreams. In the US, he enrolled at one of the best prep basketball programs in the country and quickly became one of the most sought after recruits, growing to 7 feet tall, watching tapes of Akeem Olajuwon to improve his game, and even earning himself a full ride to play at the University of Kansas. But not even Luke could have predicted just how fast he would excel. His game was getting better almost by the day. His potential was seemingly unlimited. And after just 1 season in college, the 20-year-old Cameroonian recruit would enter the 2014 NBA draft, where he was selected with the 3rd overall pick. His name? Joel Embiid, the greatest Cameroonian player in NBA history. One man giving up his sports dreams over 50 years ago triggered a series of events that would eventually lead to 2 others having the opportunity to live out theirs.
That's insane when you think about that, bro. Like, what a world, bro, that we live in. What a freaking world, bro. Like, it's called the trickle-down effect, man.
If Luke Mbamute never stopped at that court to take a shot on his way to practice, he might have never fell in love with the game. His journey to the NBA would have never happened. Maybe he focuses on soccer instead. He would have never hosted his basketball camps, and we would have never discovered one of the greatest players the world has ever seen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the butterfly effect. When a small and seemingly insignificant occurrence has rippling effects through time, leading to some consequential event sometimes long after the initial event. And this is just one of many butterfly effects that would change the course of NBA history forever.
Let's talk about it.
Today's video is brought to you by Liquid IV.
Ah,
Stay
Jimmy.
hydrated and fueled with Liquid IV.
You got me,
3
man.
times the
You got me. You. What's up?
before the Golden State Warriors
The
were a
one
dynasty
mistake
riddled
changed the
with
NBA
Hall of
forever,
Famers
man,
and
by our
generational
dog Jxmyhighroller,
superstars.
man.
They were not very good. The team spent the majority of 2 decades
They were trash. He didn't say it. They were trash.
as one of the worst organizations in the NBA, finding
Fun to
themselves in
watch.
the playoffs
Trash.
once in 18 years. Their one shining star during those years of perpetual
Lord.
mediocrity
Oh, Lord.
was a player who literally choked out the head coach. But entering the 2010s, Golden State began to put together a team that could actually compete. An electric, high-scoring guard, in
Mississippi
Monte
Bullet.
Ellis, a star and a real inside presence with David Lee, and a baby-faced assassin by the name of Steph Curry. This core group was fun. Fans were re-engaged, but most importantly, they were good. The only thing standing in the way of them in a playoff spot was Steph Curry's ankles. Every time the Warriors
All right, Jimmy. All right, Jimmy. Karim. Trying to remember. My fault, dog. I'm trying to remember. Bro. Okay, first of all, Jimmy, relax about Steph's ankles. Relax.
Warriors picked up steam and got on a rhythm, Steph would go down with another ankle injury. But in 2012, there was a specific
Your name looks familiar.
injury that would alter the timeline of Steph's career and the timeline of the entire NBA.
Harry Neal dribbled off his leg.
Oh my goodness.
Steph Curry hurt himself
his
again.
ankle. Oh, this is just heartbreaking.
This one, Steph had those glass ankles, bro. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my goodness. Can you remind me real quick? YouTube comments? Oh, my God. Hold on. I'm trying to remember. I gotta remember. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, man. But it's mostly YouTube. But I appreciate you being here, though. Thank you, bro. Good to see you. Bow. Good to see you, family.
Is all I can say. I hurt for him personally, and certainly hurt for the team and the organization.
And we were up by
Getting his
4.
ankle troubles under control in his first 2 seasons in the league, Steph, seemingly out of nowhere, sprains his ankle against the Spurs. Just
Oh,
6
Barnett,
games into
yeah.
his 3rd year in the league.
Yep.
An injury that would snowball out of control and re-aggravate again and again. Unlike his sprains in the past, this one lingered, causing him to miss entire chunks of the season.
Oh my
Even
Lord.
with his military-grade ankle braces, the sprain kept creeping back up, eventually leading to a
Yo,
season-ending
bro.
surgery just 2 months.
Jimmy just be wildin'. Bro said military grade, bro. Military grade is ridiculous, dog.
After his initial injury. Meanwhile, the Warriors' season was in a tailspin, and a change was desperately in need before their window on what looked like a promising group closed. A trade was in need, and it would be a move that would make or break the next decade of basketball in Golden State. Their trade target? Milwaukee Bucks center Andrew Bogut.
Yep.
The only way to get him, package one of their starting guards in the deal. The choice seemed pretty obvious at the time.
It was funny because I remember this happening, and I remember I wanted, because Monte Ellis at the time was my favorite player, and I was like, "What are we gonna trade? What are we gonna trade him for Steph? I mean, are we gonna trade one of them to start over?" I was just like, I don't know, man. And I did like Steph shooting at first. Of course, we all couldn't have imagined him to revolutionize the game the way that he did, but I liked Monte a lot. But I don't know. The way Steph was just pulling was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. And his handle package was absolutely insane. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, bro. But mid key, I wanted Monte to stay. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna lie.
Get rid of the guy with
Thank God I was wrong.
debilitating ankle issues and keep the borderline all-star scoring machine. And so on March 13th,
'Cause he was wildin'.
2012, just 2 days after Steph played his last game of the season before undergoing surgery on his right ankle, the Warriors and the Bucks agreed to a 5-player trade involving Andrew Bogut and Steven Jackson
Could you
for
imagine?
Epe Udoh, Kwame Brown, and Monte Ellis.
Kwame.
This came as a massive shock to the NBA world, as the Warriors just gave up arguably their best player and kept an unproven talent that couldn't even stay healthy. with every piece of evidence suggesting otherwise. The Warriors rolled the dice and chose to keep Stephen Curry instead of Monte Ellis, leading to a series of events that would completely alter the landscape of the NBA for the next decade and creating one of the greatest dynasties in the history of basketball. The choice was theirs, and they made the right one.
Yeah.
Except,
and now they don't know what the hell they're doing. So that's great.
Not really. Years after this trade broke news around the league, it was discovered that the original deal wasn't Monte Ellis for Andrew Bogut, it was Stephen Curry for Andrew Bogut. The Warriors were ready to build around the trio of Ellis, Lee, and Bogut, but after completing a physical with team...
That was back in the day when there was more in the paint than anything. When passing was more of a prevalent thing. Three-point shooting wasn't that high compared to what it is now, of course. So, you know... Like, I get why they wanted to get rid of Steph, because it wasn't what, you know, it wasn't what it was at the time. You know, totally get it. But the Warriors saw something. They saw the future. High key. They saw the future. And they went on a tear of the picks and everything. I'm not answering that, Curse.
Doctors within the Milwaukee Bucks organization, the status of Curry's ankle injuries was unclear at best. So the Bucks denied the trade and proposed a new one with Monte instead. And inexplicably, the Warriors accepted it. The same ankle injuries that gave Curry and the organization doubts about his future with the team.
Obviously,
his
Curse.
future in the league became
Pay attention.
the catalyst for one of the most pivotal trade decisions in the league's history. If Steph avoided those ankle injuries leading up to the trade, the Bucks would have accepted him in a package for Bogut. He would have ended up in Milwaukee, and the last 12 years of Warriors basketball that has
But then again, also too, if he wasn't injured, he probably would have done a lot more. Don't y'all think? Or am I tripping?
redefined the league would have never happened. Instead, Steph would have joined the Bucks, where just 15
Oh God. Oh, my stomach. I'm sorry, y'all. It just made me throw up a little bit. Ugh.
months after his arrival, he would have been paired with another player that might have sparked an entirely new dynasty.
What was that? Yo, have y'all seen these videos? I hate these videos so much, bro. They do a terrible job at advertising these videos. I'm not even gonna look. It's just, these are terrible, bro. Yo, the dude always loses. He always loses, bro. I hate. Makes me so angry.
With the 15th pick in the 2000.
It is satisfying. I ain't gonna lie. It is satisfying.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Giannis Antetokounmpo from
Isn't it Antetokounmpo?
Athens, Greece.
Just one season after their blockbuster trade, the Bucks drafted an 18-year-old Giannis Antetokounmpo, which would have paired their new dynamic point guard with a young international talent they call the Greek Freak.
Could you have
If
imagined?
Steph avoided those ankle injuries, particularly this one against the Spurs that would linger and inevitably blow up his season in 2012, the Bucks would have accepted the trade offer that included him, and we may have seen an NBA featuring a Bucks team with two of the greatest players of all time. The
Oh yeah, the 1 million power. Yeah.
replaced with a Bucks dynasty and an entire decade of era-defining basketball erased and replaced with an unstoppable team.
I don't think y'all understand how crazy this would look, bro. And then just build shooters around. Oh my goodness gracious. Just imagine, bro.
In Milwaukee.
Oof. Kobe! Rest in peace, Bean.
Back in 1998, after having the NBA in a chokehold for the majority of a decade, the Bulls finished their last season together on top. But with their 6th championship ring came the demise of the best team in basketball. By the start of the lockout season of '99, the Bulls championship roster had been
Nah, for sure. Good thing they didn't.
dismantled. Rodman was released. Pippen was traded to Houston. Phil Jackson retired. The team was a shell of itself. So Michael felt like his time in the league had come to an end. So
Really?
he retired as well.
Right, that's right,
Except
yeah.
he wasn't ready to leave the game. Over the years, Michael has been adamant about the fact that if the Bulls franchise brought back this team for another shot at a title, he would not have retired before the 1999 season. The one non-negotiable for Mike was that he refused to play for anyone other than Phil Jackson. But in the words of Jerry Krause, former Bulls GM, Phil Jackson could have gone 82-0 with this team, and he was still going to be let go at the end of the 98 season. This decision essentially forced Michael into retirement. But just 5 months
So that guy, I forgot his name. He was just stupid. What was the reason for that? Why would you get rid of Phil Jackson? Michael Jordan says, wherever he goes, I go. Why would you do that? I don't understand the logic in that. The rhyme or reason. I don't think there's a good rhyme or reason. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't think there's a good rhyme or reason.
months after Jordan announced his second retirement,
Attention.
Phil Jackson was
Get over it. Grow up. Grow up. Michael Jordan's on your team. Grow up. Get over it. Get a haircut. Go get some steak. Go smoke a cigar. Grow up. You be all right. He be all right, champ. I told him, you'd be all right. Imagine. Because you got tension. You want to get rid of it. That is, oh my God. People just dumb. The hell are you talking about, LeBron?
was hired as the head coach of a Lakers team on the verge of becoming the next great NBA behemoth. Meanwhile, Michael, who says he was absolutely sure about his decision to retire, was not quite ready to leave the game behind. Over the next couple years, videos surfaced of Mike visiting Bulls practices.
Sounds like bro's just an
terrorizing players
idiot.
in one-on-ones, clearly better than anyone in the gym. Reports at the time even detailed Michael seriously considering suiting up and playing in Spain for half a season. But before Michael made his return in Washington, he would often visit the Lakers. During practice, before games, he would go to their games and sit courtside, something he virtually never did with other teams. He would spend time with players, talking to Phil, even mentoring Kobe Bryant as he grew into a superstar.
Are you trying to tell me there was a possibility of an MJ Kobe combo? There could have been. I'm just gonna shut up.
His involvement with the Lakers in the 1999 season was subtle, but had a massive effect on the team. Despite what he told us, Mike was not ready to retire in 1999, and with Phil Jackson coaching in LA, the obvious destination for the former Bulls great was to join the Lakers. But you see, the only problem was that by the time Jackson was hired to coach the team, Michael couldn't play basketball. It's been well documented that in the summer of 1998, Michael Jordan had caused severe damage to his right index finger while attempting to cut a cigar.
Oh my God. I don't understand. Like, how, bro? How do you do that? How? How do you do that, bro? How? Wow, bro. This is a lot of information I never would have known.
In fact, in Jordan's retirement announcement, he mentions that the accident had severed a tendon in his finger and that the injury would require surgery. This injury, even if Michael never retired, would have sidelined him for the entire 1999 NBA season. And by the time he was physically able to return, the team that he had spent time around, developed relationships with, and was home to the only coach that he would play for were already champions, completely removing any possibility of Mike signing with the franchise since Michael refused to join a team that were already established champions. It goes against everything the man believes. If Michael Jordan never severed his finger in a freak cigar cutting accident in 1998, the nagging itch he had to return to the game might have taken place 3 seasons sooner, with the only team that even had a chance at signing him, the Los Angeles Lakers. Instead, his injury delayed his return to the game, and
Bro, I was born in '92. What the hell are you talking about? I didn't watch basketball until I was like 10. Listen, you can't be ignorant and wrong. That's crazy.
axed his chances of playing for Phil Jackson again and playing with Kobe and Shaq in a championship roster.
That's a wild.
This team could have happened. In a world where Michael Jordan doesn't get into a freak accident in the 1998 offseason, we may have seen a Lakers team featuring Shaq, Kobe, and Jordan entering the 1999 NBA season.
Man.
Maybe instead of imploding a few years later, this team continues to win and stays together. Maybe Michael retires for the final time, not as a washed-up Washington Wizard, but instead a Bulls and Lakers legend with 3 or 4 more rings.
I ain't gonna lie. This actually looks a lot more gross than the Stephen Curry one. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's disgusting.
Or maybe Michael's tyrant leadership drives Shaquille O'Neal out of LA, and we never get that 2000s Lakers dynasty at all. Maybe Michael's role on the team greatly reduces Kobe's, and we never see the true potential of the Black Mamba. And maybe everything went exactly
Many possibilities.
the way it was supposed
Many.
to. Because that's the butterfly effect. When something almost insignificant spurs a series of events that leads to something much, much bigger.
Much bigger. Greater. Excuse me. W Jimmy. Shout out to the homie Jimmy, man. Listen. That was beautiful, man. Wow. I really enjoyed these videos, dog.